CMS, or Client Management System, works alongside Riva. You can access CMS by logging into Riva and then clicking My CMS. This will then bring you into the dashboard. The dashboard has several widgets, some of which you'll find very useful, such as the up-and-coming events. We will see later on, when we enter client details, how you can set callback events so that when you first log into the dashboard, you'll see information about clients that need follow-up calls or policies that need renewals. There's also a My Reminders tab, which will give you slightly more detail and give you the opportunity to drill down into those reminders and find the information in more detail. There is a calendar which will give you a quick overview of all those follow-up calls and reminders on the calendar as specified. You will also see settings here on how to set up the scheme. So here you can change the color to match the corporate colors for your CMS system. You can also change the fact find questions, and we'll come back to this a bit later and discuss this in more detail. All you really need to do to get started with CMS is to go into the Clients menu and start adding your clients. So if I click Add Client, the first thing it will do is ask me some basic questions about that client. Any questions with a star next to them are compulsory and have to be selected. So I'm just going to enter some data so that we have a record to work with. And you can then enter the address of that client, their contact telephone numbers, marital status, information such as their national insurance number, date of birth, and how they prefer to be corresponded with. So I'll click Save and Exit, and now a summary of that client will appear, and we can start adding more information for them, such as an investment, pension, protection, or mortgage. There's also a fact find section, documents, so that you can upload any documents that you're working with, and notes. So let's have a look at some of these menus. If we click into fact find, I've already set up a number of questions just as an illustration of the kind of thing that you can do. You can see all of these questions are customizable in the dashboard. So if I go back to the dashboard and I go to My Fact Find, this is where you can change those questions, add new sections. So you can see all those fact finds were organized into sections, and within each section you have the opportunity to add a question, and the answers to those questions can either be a text box, drop down menu, tick box, or radio button. If we go back to our client, so you can see the client that I've just entered, and I'm going to click on Edit under the Manage column. And then we now want to go into Investment. We can see a list of the investments that they've already made, and we can add a new policy by clicking here. This will then take you into the Policy Wizard, where you can add the details for this policy. Again, I'm just going to add some information just to illustrate what fields are available in this section. You can select the policy status, policy type, the details of the policy such as the reference number, document number, the new business type, so I can select here advised new business, execution only. I'm going to select execution only, attitude to risk, and policy dates. And you can see at the bottom here we have a next review date field, and this is where you can enter a date that will then be flagged up in the dashboard in the reminders at the appropriate time. We also have a section for trusts, a section to enter the commission for that policy, sections for recording regular income and withdrawals, and a section for payment contributions. We then have finally an option to add a particular fund. And then when you've completed all of the sections in the wizard, you can save and exit, and you can also tick the box to say log business to Riva. You'll then be able to log into Riva and then go into the new business section, and that policy that you've added will then appear as a new business record without you having to duplicate the entering of that information. We also have a document section. The document section allows you to upload any documents that you've been working with, and this could be quite useful if you've written letters to the client. And we also have a notes section which allows you to add a note, and again you have a date, subject, contact type, a text box to enter some notes. You also have a follow-up deadline and a completed deadline, and again information added here can be flagged up in the dashboard under the reminders when it needs to be completed. So that's it really, everything you need to know to get started with CMS. The best way to do it is to actually log in and have a go yourself.